The first time I played Undertale, I made a huge mistake. Yep, okay, whatever, be friends, come on, tutorial, let's go. Maybe I was distracted or jamming out to the music, but when Goat Mom told me I was grounded unless I could take her in a fight, did I just kill my mom? I missed that part that makes Undertale unique, where it tells you not to play it like every other RPG, but instead to de-escalate battles and make friends with your enemies. Of course, you can play it like any other RPG. This run is called let's call it the evil run. I know what the internet calls it, but YouTube really doesn't like that word. But after taking blood samples from Undertale's cast of characters, the world felt different. NPCs were afraid to leave their homes. I destroyed dreams and families. The music slowed down to an eerie crawl. I wasn't hunting monsters, I was the monster. The last decade featured a subgenre of games that don't appear to have much in common, but they all do something very similar. They blame you, not the character, you, for the choices your character makes. Imagine you're watching a horror movie, and halfway through the hero turns to the screen and asks, Hey you sitting right there, are you enjoying this? My friends are dead and you paid money to watch that? What is wrong with you? Now, you'd never blame a viewer for what happens in a TV show they're watching, but video games are unique because the controller is in your hands. You pulled the trigger. You clicked fight. You could have stopped playing, but you didn't. The plot drives forward because you made it happen, and several games in the last decade have asked, does that make you responsible? One game in particular took a well-known franchise, lulled players into a false sense of familiarity, and then forced you down a dark path and confronted you with the consequences of your in-game actions. And audiences loved it when it was called Spec Ops: The Line, but for some reason when The Last of Us 2 does it, it completely splits the room. Don't believe me? Check out the comments on my Last of Us 2 video. You would think that game killed everybody's dog. So what do these blame games have in common, and why did Spec Ops: The Line work while The Last of Us 2 didn't? To answer that, we will need a full spoiler warning for all of these games. We'll start our journey in a forsaken wasteland where the worst of humanity thrives and nobody gets out alive. Hotline Miami is a hypnotically violent game. A top-down shooter set in the late 80s with a banging soundtrack, where your seemingly normal character receives cryptic answering machine messages with an address. That address is packed full of Russian mobsters, and it's your job to crash the party and turn them all into borscht. You blast and stab and punch your way through the entire Russian mob where they and you die in nearly one hit. And it's so much fun that I kept forgetting to win. But it's the sequences in between the violence that round out the world. Our nameless hero, the internet calls him Jacket, stops into a pizza place, a bar, a corner shop, a video store, and is happily greeted by the same clerk at all of them, as the level sways and stretches all around me like I'm back at Burning Man. This brings us to our first rule. From the first screen, Hotline Miami makes it clear you are not saving the world, you're here to kill people. The game never pretends to be more than that. Once Jacket rescues a woman left for dead at one of his shooting sprees, the game starts to talk. To you. Jacket is repeatedly visited in his dreams by masked figures who question not only his actions, but whether any of this is real. Starting with the game's signature question, do you like hurting other people? Are you having fun? Do you know who's leaving you these messages? And do you even care? Because they're asking a silent protagonist these introspective questions, the game is asking you. In one level early on, the game calls attention to two janitors. We can't interact with them, but they take a moment to acknowledge our presence. After that, it's smooth sailing, and by smooth sailing, I mean copious murder, until the masked figures are back, letting you know something horrible is coming. From here, the glass begins to crack. Your friendly clerk has a headless corpse next to him, and breaks character to let you know that none of this is real. After the next level, it's somebody new, but instead of a jovial greeting, they're rude and dismissive. But remember that face. You'll see them again, and again, and again. And then you find the woman you rescued, dead in your apartment. A man with a rat mask is waiting. He has two targets. You're the second. You wake from the coma you've been in for months. The game's prior levels were just your fever dream, and you overhear your assailant has been arrested. After blasting through the police station, you find the man who killed your girlfriend, and almost you is just a guy who got messages on his answering machine. Like you. Your DeLorean has been vandalized, your apartment has a chalk outline of your dead friend, but you have the police file showing there have been dozens who have received answering machine messages instructing them all to kill. At first glance, Doki Doki Literature Club couldn't look more different than Hotline Miami. But when we apply the rules of blame games, they are incredibly similar. Doki Doki Literature Club is an anime-style dating simulator where you're a high school boy coerced into joining a poetry club, run by your 4 love interests: literal girl next door Sayori, snarky manga-loving Natsuki, shy bookworm and tea fan Yuri, and the club's overachiever president, Monika. As the player, you navigate your interactions with these 4 and pick someone to pursue, and each potential is excited to date you. Like most dating simulators, you put all your effort towards one love interest, always choosing to spend time with them, always choosing the flirtiest dialogue options, always siding with them in an argument, and they're guaranteed to fall for you. You effectively brute force your way into a relationship where, as long as you continue giving a character attention, you will always win their love. For the first hour, you write poetry for the school festival on Monday. You're asked to help somebody prepare over the weekend, and while you can pick anyone, your childhood friend Sayori is absent. She's been taking your newfound popularity pretty hard. Sayori invited you to join the poetry club because she wanted to spend time with you. And while she's happy the other girls adore you too, seeing them fawn over you hurts. She admits her depression is getting the best of her. You didn't even know she had depression. And the game offers a surprisingly authentic monologue about what it's like to live like that every day. So authentic that whoever wrote it is probably sharing their own experience. You bond with either Yuri or Natsuki over the weekend at your house, and Sayori catches you flirting. She puts on a brave face, but she's clearly crushed. You arrive on Monday for the festival, but Sayori isn't here. You head to Sayori's home and find her dead, hanging in her bedroom. Also, this is the song that plays when you find Sayori dead, and that is the darkest thing I've ever seen. And the game resets back to day 1, but Sayori is missing. This time, Monika seeks you out the same way Sayori did and invites you to join the poetry club. You take her invitation, but the characters are different now. Yuri's crush on you is devolving into obsession. Natsuki's snarky sense of humor became acidic and mean, and Monika keeps vying for your attention. The poems she writes and shares with you have a running theme of awakening, of realizing her world is a prison she longs to escape from. Natsuki is growing worried about the club. She even sneaks a letter to you disguised as a poem to say she's concerned about Yuri. Your presence in the poetry club is causing a reaction in Yuri that Natsuki doesn't understand. But you cannot prevent this. You can't spend time with Sayori and save her life. You can't spend time with Monika without Yuri and Natsuki objecting. The game has you on a set path because it wants to teach you a lesson. Yuri demands your attention and she wants to know if you love her back. No matter your answer, she stabs herself. The game's script breaks and you are stuck with Yuri's dead body in the poetry classroom all weekend. On Monday morning, Natsuki is horrified, but Monika isn't. Monika deletes Yuri and Natsuki, and the game ceases to exist. She's become aware that she's a character in a dating simulator and wants a way out. But the only way out is to win you. So she broke the game's code and altered the other characters. She amplified Sayori's depression, encouraged Yuri's obsession with you, all to rig the game in her favor, to brute force her way to victory. Doki Doki Literature Club shows us what it would be like for a character in a dating simulator to date you. You did not win this game. Monika did.
That's white phosphorus.
Yeah, I know what it is.
You've seen what this shit does. You know we
Might
can't
not have a
use it.
choice, Lugo.
There's always a choice. No, there's really not.
Spec Ops: The Line debuted in 2012 at the height of Call of Duty owning the games industry, and at first glance this could be Medal of Honor, Battlefield, Homefront, Arma, or any other military FPS that puts you in the middle of a global conflict only you could bring peace to, American style. But hidden within Spec Ops: The Line was one of the most brutal deconstructions of a genre that was generating billions of dollars for the gaming industry, and had more in common with a dating simulator than anyone realized. Spec Ops: The Line follows Captain Walker, Lieutenant Adams, and Sergeant Lugo into the ruins of Dubai. 6 months ago, Dubai suffered one of the worst sandstorms in history. The city was buried and cut off from the outside world. The wealthy fled, leaving behind anyone who couldn't afford to escape. Famed Colonel John Conrad led the U.S. Army battalion known as the Damn 33rd into Dubai to start relief efforts and evacuate civilians. What happened after they entered Dubai isn't clear. All the U.S. got back was this message.
Colonel John Conrad, United States Army. Evacuation of Dubai ended in complete failure. Death toll, too many.
Walker, Adams, and Lugo have been sent to discreetly confirm if there are any survivors and report back on Conrad's whereabouts. If you're a cinephile, you've recognized the premise. It's a modern-day apocalypse now. You arrive in Dubai and shoot it out with insurgents who think you're part of the damn 33rd. We realize there's an active civil war going on between the survivors of the sandstorm and Conrad's battalion. But the game puts you in a mid-air helicopter firefight, a shootout in a downed plane, and lets you use the mountains of sand to your advantage in combat. It gives you all the thrills, machismo, and slick presentation you would expect in a military shooter.
We're gonna keep at this until you tell me what I want to know. How many soldiers are stationed at the water depot?
Get your licks in while you can, Agent. 33rd's on their way here right now.
Damn can't save you. The 33rd lost their balls the day they went rogue.
Well, now's the time to prove it, because I'm not telling you shit.
No! What the hell?
The CIA is also here, mobilizing the locals against the damn 33rd. When we find Conrad's troops chasing down and shooting at Dubai civilians, we step in, but the damn 33rd turn their sights on us. What happened here? Who's to blame, and are we still the good guys? These questions get forgotten when the skies catch fire.
Don't let them touch us!
The damn 33rd are using white phosphorus against the rebels in Dubai, a chemical weapon that can burn through bone.
All right, Lugo. Who are we up against?
An army? Give or take?
No shit.
How are we getting through this?
This might help.
Fine, set it up.
You're fucking kidding, right? That's white phosphorus.
Yeah, I know what it is. Okay, prepare to fire. That in order? Yeah, it is.
Walker makes the call, and you unleash burning hell on the damn 33rd. This point of view should be familiar to anyone who plays military shooters. The overhead black and white cam while you rain down death from above. Crucially, we see Walker's reflection in the monitor as he watches his victims writhe in agony. You blow up the final tank while the white phosphorus spreads into the nearby corridors.
Target in sight. Hummer disabled.
Walker, Adams, and Lugo walk through the wreckage they created. The damn 33rd soldiers burn beyond recognition, and Walker makes a terrible discovery.
Why? We were helping.
Oh no.
There were Dubai civilians sheltered in the base, and Walker just massacred 50 innocent people.
This is your fault, goddammit! Stop right there, Lugo. What it is, he wouldn't listen. Have a choice. He turned us into fucking killers. That's enough, Sergeant. No, I told you so. No.
We need to keep moving.
You're not even...
I'm gonna make these bastards pay for what they've done. Now, are you with me or not?
And from here on, the tone of Spec Ops The Line changes irreversibly.
There they are. Murderers. Open fire.
Colonel Conrad contacts Walker over the radio and arranges tests for Walker and his men to prove themselves.
It's Conrad. He did it. All of it.
Okay, so what do?
We play along. For now. Colonel. I'm Captain Walker.
Yes, I remember you. Kabul, I think it was.
What's going on here?
Survival, Captain. Plain and simple.
We got snipers.
Tell your men not to worry, Captain. The snipers aren't for you.
This is a test.
Yes, it is. A civilian on the right stole water. A capital offense. The soldier on the left was sent to apprehend him, which he did. Killing the man's family in the process. 5 innocent people are dead because these 2 animals couldn't control themselves.
I get it. We're meant to choose.
Choose what? Let's get out of here.
Lugo's right. We need to get as far away from this as possible.
They aren't guilty. Who lives? Who dies?
The war hero identity Spec Ops opened with begins to crack. Walker goes from shouting military lingo during firefights to angry swearing. The tooltips in the loading screen start asking you, do you feel like a hero yet? Walker starts hallucinating during combat, and Adams and Lugo question Walker's fitness to lead, and Walker is haunted by the civilians he killed. Instead of offering a fantasy about a one-man army taking down an evil military force, Spec Ops: The Line asks you if you were ever the hero. Your choices have no good outcomes. At one point, your CIA contact betrays you and destroys the city's remaining water supply to force the damn 33rd out of Dubai. But in the escape, he's pinned under a burning truck. There is no way to save him.
What I did may not have been nice, but it was right. Besides, it's not like I'm walking out of here. Just do me a favor, huh? Don't let me burn.
Do you grant him mercy? Or let him burn to death for what he just did to Dubai? Nobody will know what you chose. It won't affect the story, but you'll know. The tooltips for the player become more hostile. This is all your fault. If you were a better person, you wouldn't be here. To kill for yourself is murder. To kill for your government is heroic. To kill for entertainment is harmless. Walker becomes a less reliable narrator as the story continues.
Wait! Wait, this isn't right!
Well, it's too late now!
No, I mean, we did this already!
What do you mean?
Ah, fuck it!
After shooting down the enemy's aircraft, we fly into a sandstorm and our helicopter crashes. So, do these rules apply to the other games? Yes. In an evil run of Undertale, you are rewarded for completing tutorials, but the illusion is broken by an act of violence when you kill Toriel. The music slows, the characters live in fear. Save points tell you how many more you have to kill to clear each area. You achieve victory by overcoming your obstacles, and by obstacles, I mean your fellow children. You were told your LV stat stood for love, but here it stands for level of violence. The EXP you gain after every fight isn't experience points, it's execution points. The game has been judging your actions from the start, and Sans will render a verdict. If you're evil enough to earn it, Sans Blade of Mikola is the hardest fight in the game, and even harder when you realize this lovably lazy pun machine is fighting to avenge everyone you took from him, just like Abby fighting Ellie in The Last of Us 2. And Sans acknowledges time is looping in Undertale and all of this will be reset. But he can't sit back and watch you destroy everyone around him. He can't let you restart the game knowing what you did to his friends. Taking your typical actions in an RPG literally shows us you're not just a monster in Undertale, you've been a monster in every fantasy world you've ever played in. Hotline Miami rubs your choices in your face at the end of a fire hose of blood and music and chaos when you kill the last mobster and the music immediately shuts off. Like you've woken up from a nightmare, and you have to walk back to your car ankle deep in the death that you caused because an answering machine told you to. Halfway through the game, you're sent to the phone company where you're confronted by a man in a biker helmet. He doesn't have a name, so the internet called him Biker. Jacket prevails and thinks he killed Biker, but Biker lived, and that's why the assassin was sent to kill Jacket for failing to complete his mission. After Jacket's campaign, we take control of Biker and see the last few months unfold from another perspective, including his fight with Jacket, where this time, Biker wins. Doki Doki Literature Club's time loops back to day 1 after Sayori dies, to run the campaign again with one less obstacle for Monica. But traces of Sayori remain within the game's code, a reminder to the player that you failed to save your friend and you'll never have her back. The hype for The Last of Us 2 was through the roof after the first game's incredible success. And like Spec Ops: The Line, the creators took player expectations for a Last of Us game and turned them against us. But where Spec Ops: The Line became and remains a critical success, The Last of Us 2 split the audience between those who thought the game was daring and groundbreaking to those who thought it disrespected the first game's legacy. But The Last of Us 2 follows the same formula as the other Blame games. In fact, there's even a moment where Ellie sneaks up on Whitney, who's playing a PlayStation Vita handheld. After Ellie kills her, if you have the sniper scope and you zoom in on the console, you'll see she was playing Hotline Miami.
How would you rate our kiss from last night?
I don't know.
I give it a 6.
A 6?
Wow. Like a solid 6.
Okay.
There were a lot of people around.
Yeah, but 6.
Oh, what? I mean, now I really want to know how you'd rate it.
I don't think you do.
We open in a familiar setting, the colony in Jackson where Tommy and Maria were staying in the first game. There's some tension between Joel and Ellie, but we slip back into the gameplay we expect from The Last of Us. Ellie and Dina sneak around abandoned buildings, shiv clickers, read journals, trade observations, and create a hostile work environment. Across town, Joel and Tommy rescue a young woman named Abby who is trapped by infected.
My friends are at a mansion just north of here. It's fenced in, we have the whole perimeter secure.
Some ball, please. I can work.
The horde may overrun them, but Abby knows where they can hide. Joel and Tommy ride with Abby to a cabin where 7 of Abby's friends are waiting out the storm together. Joel and Tommy think the worst is behind them, but the worst was already in the room.
Y'all act like you heard of us or something.
Because they have. Joel Miller.
Who are you?
Guess.
Why don't you say whatever speech you got rehearsed? Get this over with.
You stupid old man. You don't get to rush this.
When Joel and Tommy don't report back in, Ellie goes searching for them and walks in on the 8 friends torturing Joel.
Please stop! Please don't shoot! Joel, please get up!
Abby and her friends leave Ellie and Tommy alive and flee for Seattle. Tommy, Ellie, and Dina head to Seattle where they find the 8 responsible are part of a militia group controlling Seattle called the Wolves. Ellie and Tommy tear through the city on their own vengeance quest to find the group's ringleader, Abby. But killing the Wolves is destroying Ellie.
I made her talk.
Like the other titles, what would be celebrated in most games is depicted negatively here. The game wants us to question whether Ellie should finish this, or find Tommy and head home. But it's already too late to stop.
We let you both live, and you wasted it!
Next, we rewind the last 3 days and play as Abby, meeting the people we've spent the last few hours painting the walls with as our friends, trying to show us these were real people with their own lives and not just evil NPCs. We see that Abby killed Joel because Joel murdered Abby's father at the end of The Last of Us 1. She feels entitled to vengeance not just because of what Joel did, but because you were in control of Joel in the last game, she feels entitled to vengeance because of what you did.
You just come after her.
But it's at the end of the campaign, where Ellie is literally the final boss, the game really takes aim at our expectations. The game forces us to fight Ellie, the character who represents our most basic instincts: to hunt, to hurt, to destroy, to avenge. To fight her means to actively reject Ellie's goals. The game would like us to have learned that Ellie is wrong and for us to earn Abby's life back.
Don't ever let me see you again.
Joel! Oh God. Please, no! Ellie?
The Last of Us 2 doesn't hold back on showing how seeing Joel's death, hunting the wolves, losing the fight to Abby, and the nightmare she still endures have affected Ellie. While most games would root for us to get Ellie back out there, this one makes us root for Ellie to stay, to remain with Dina and JJ in their farmhouse and let it go. I can't be the only one who yelled at the screen when Ellie left Dina behind to follow a lead on Abby's whereabouts. The Last of Us 2 does not explicitly break the fourth wall, but it is trying to sell its point of view to the player. Vengeance is wrong. It solves nothing. It hurts others and you. Unfortunately, the story doesn't fully support this. Ellie and Abby killed dozens of wolves and seraphites along their journey, all of whom probably have loved ones who would now like to see Ellie or Abby dead. Are they wrong for wanting that? Should they be fine with Ellie or Abby killing their loved ones? I don't think so. Was it wrong for Ellie to kill the slavers in Santa Barbara and set their captives free? Was it wrong for Ellie and Tommy to seek justice for Joel? What made Ellie travel all this way to hunt Abby just to let her go? During their fight, Ellie flashes back to Joel on his porch, which was a new development for us, but that all happened the night before Joel died, which was months ago.
I was supposed to die in that hospital. My life would have fucking mattered.
I don't think I can ever forgive you for that, but I would like to try.
Ellie has been carrying that encounter with her the entire time she was in Seattle. If this conversation between them was so important, why didn't it have an effect on Ellie until now? The Last of Us 2 tries to say so much without explicitly saying anything, and ignores the valid counter-arguments to its message by refusing to acknowledge other points of view. When we rewind as Abby, we see the price she pays for her revenge on Joel. Tommy shoots Manny right in front of her. She finds Owen and Mel dead in their home. With Abby deserting the wolves and Manny dead, and Ellie and Tommy thinning out their numbers, the wolves' assault on the Seraphites' island fails, leaving the wolves destroyed just like the Fireflies. Abby got her revenge, and everyone she loves paid for it. So what was The Last of Us Part 2 missing? I made a whole video on that, but I left out one thing. One thing I wish I hadn't, because there's a moment that might have changed my entire opinion about The Last of Us Part 2, and it happened in Spec Ops: The Line. After the helicopter crash, Walker finds Adams, but Lugo is missing. Lugo pleads for help over the radio, so you track his signal and find him strung up before an angry crowd of survivors.
The roof, Huck! Shoot the roof! Everyone back, now! Come on, Lugo. Get your ass out. You heard him. Back up, right now!
You pull him down, but he's dead. The crowd still wants blood. They think you're with the damn 33rd, and the only one who spoke their language was Lugo. Without him, there's no way to know who in the crowd is responsible for this and who isn't.
Let me take him, Walker. Sir, permission to open fire. I need you to give the word. Walker, give me the fucking word.
They start pelting you with rocks, and Adams calls for your order to open fire on everyone. You are very outnumbered, but they have stones and you have this. So you're going to win this fight, but I was exhausted. Everything I had done as Walker had made things worse, between destroying the water supply, all of Conrad's tests, and oh yeah, committing war crimes. I just wanted it to stop. Sure, I'd been shooting at insurgents and soldiers who were shooting back at me for the whole game, but these weren't soldiers. They weren't armed. I didn't want to kill these people. They were all encroaching on us and time was running out. I had to do something, so I just fired into the air.
Go! While you still can.
And it worked. The game never told me I could do that. And this lit my mind on fire. Were there better solutions to all the no-win situations I'd been put in earlier? Yeah, there were. You cannot skip the white phosphorus scene, that has to happen, but later moments had better alternatives the game never shared with me. This was a perfect moment of ludonarrative harmony where both Walker and I learned at the same time I could be merciful without losing, and I didn't have to massacre a crowd of refugees who were just scared.
We're looking for fireflies.
So there were two moments here The Last of Us 2 needed but didn't have. First, Spec Ops: The Line made me want to stop the violence, and it let me choose to. I could have mowed them all down and the game would have continued. Undertale asked me repeatedly to stop all the killing and choose to be better. The Last of Us 2 wanted me to feel this way too, but I didn't. Maybe because Ellie wanted to kill Abby and I wanted what Ellie wanted. Walker never wanted to massacre civilians, even if he did, but Abby sure did want to massacre someone. Yes, the game makes it clear no one is morally entitled to vengeance, but by the end, it assumes you agree with its message, and judging by the review scores, a lot of us didn't. And finally, Spec Ops: The Line proves our final rule, but The Last of Us 2 breaks it. This doesn't mean there has to be a happy ending. Spec Ops: The Line has no happy endings. You find Conrad dead at the top of the Burj Khalifa, dead for months now, and you've been hallucinating that he's been taunting you on the radio. Adams and Lugo thought you'd lost it, and they were right. You couldn't handle the truth of what you'd done with the white phosphorus, so you gave yourself an enemy to fight, a mission to complete, a chance to be the hero you never were. Because if Conrad forced you to choose who lived and who died, then those deaths wouldn't be your fault.
What happened here was out of my control. Was it? None of this would have happened if you just stopped.
But Conrad failed in his mission, and so did you.
Captain Walker.
He's armed.
It's okay. Hold your fire.
I don't understand. What's he doing? Look at his eyes. Something's not right.
Captain Walker, we are here to help. But first, I need you to lay down your weapon.
Best case scenario, you're discovered by US reinforcements and rescued. You'll likely be racked with PTSD for years. Worst case, you kill those reinforcements and rule Dubai. You let them kill you, or you join Conrad in death. But discovering a way to outsmart Conrad and reject the situations the game shoved me into are what define Spec Ops: The Line for me. Hotline Miami ends with Biker tracking down the source of the answering machine messages, and finds the janitors who look suspiciously like the game's lead developers. One locks a computer and heads into the sewer. You can try the computer, but you need a password. You corner the janitors and ask them for an explanation, but they'll taunt you for wanting a motive. After all, this was a game. You bought it, you played it, you finished it. Now you want us to explain it all to you? you, fuck off. Biker accuses them of killing people, and they remind you, we haven't killed anyone. You did. End their lives or don't, it doesn't matter. There is no grand reveal here. Or is there? Players likely noticed in the pause menu there's an option for puzzle, and sharp-eyed folks might spot there's clues hidden in every level. A single letter in each chapter that spells out I was born in the USA. Enter that password in the computer and all their plans are revealed. Corner the janitors this time and they'll spill their absolutely bonkers plot that sets up the game's convoluted sequel. If you do the work in Hotline Miami, you will find the answers you seek. Undertale keeps encouraging you to stop your evil run and go for a neutral ending, and you can anytime you like. But you could also choose to see your villainy all the way through the end. Kill Sans, kill Asgore, kill Flowey, and escape the realm of monsters. Then the character turns to you, to separate itself from you, to tell you that you freed them, to tell you every time you leveled up by killing, you made them stronger. Your murderous ways awoke something terrible, and now it's free. Your character kills you, you reset, and after 10 minutes of nothing, your character offers to restore the world in exchange for your soul. If you agree, you can restart the game and play it any way you like, but some endings will be forever altered because of what you did here. But there's so much potential in this world and these characters that I never got to experience, and when I made different choices, I could see everyone from a new perspective. In Doki Doki Literature Club, Monika reveals to you that she deleted Sayori, Yuri, and Natsuki's files to erase them from the game, and how easy it was sitting right there in the game's folder. The Plus version of Doki Doki Literature Club uses an in-game operating system, so this twist could work on consoles. But the original Steam version made you Alt-Tab out and literally open the game's folder, mark characters, and delete Monika. Monika is removed from the game and we resurrect Sayori, Yuri, and Natsuki. And with Monika gone, Sayori becomes the new club president. You can even delete Monika and start a fresh playthrough of the game, but that means Sayori will now gain sentience and she loses her mind. But The Last of Us 2 never gives you that autonomy over your experience. You must leave Dina to go to Santa Barbara. You must confront Abby. You must get this close to drowning her, then you must let her go without explanation. Ellie flashes back to her last conversation with Joel, which does give us some much-needed context about where they left things, but doesn't justify Ellie's decision to spare Abby without the player doing some heavy lifting on the writer's behalf. I never got to outsmart Abby. I never felt compelled to be merciful. I never felt aligned with the game's message, and I never wanted to forgive her. The game may have ended, but I never felt like I won. I didn't get the chance to talk about Pathologic 2. I don't want to spoil Pathologic 2. If you enjoyed these games and you haven't played Pathologic 2, play Pathologic 2. I'm gonna make a full video on it before 3 comes out, but Pathologic 2 is one of my favorite Blame games. What are some of your favorites? Let me know in the comments what horrors I should be responsible for next. If you enjoyed this video, please click that like button. It really does help me share this with more people. And click subscribe so you can catch the next video too. Thanks and have a great day.